So once you reach rank 5 with the Solaris United, you unlock heists in this back room over here. For this video, I'll only focus on the Profit Taker Orbs missions. By the way, you can skip cutscenes by spamming the primary fire button once you've selected a mission. Phase 1. Phase 1 is a series of simple bounties like the normal Valis bounties. Skipping the cutscene, go to the Valis, and into this cave specifically. Kill the nearby corpus and then find the Quill's body and interact with it. Notice how this very obvious corpse and this very obvious fishing rod lay here. Your objective now is to equip a rod and catch some servofish. Next, go to the corpus base on your map. Kill enemies until one of them drops a data mass. Pick up the data mass and shove it in a nearby console. Defend the console for a few minutes and now the base is yours. Next, travel to this drone, kill it, wait for the drone to restart, and then defend the drone against the corpus. After completing phase 1, you can start phase 2 by talking to Little Duck out here, or back in Fortuna inside the heist room. Phase 2. Go inside the enrichment labs and assassinate the armaments director, vivisect director, and the sentient research director. Next, head outside and kill the 2 Terra Ambulus. Once your genocide is complete, take the data mass and bring it back to Fortuna. Phase 3. For this bounty, it'll be super helpful to have a variety of different element types on your weapons, and have the War Within quest completed as well helps. First, travel to this vent and interact with it. Now hack this console, which will fail. And now you must hack console A, then immediately run to console B and interact with the panel there. After that, the spooky spider starts speaking. First, you must bash the orb with a bunch of damage to raise the percent level. After it reaches the funny devil number,
it's spelled devil, but it's pronounced devil.
You must hit the orb with the specific elemental symbol it's displaying, otherwise it will not take any damage. The orb will change its active element either every 20 seconds, or if you hit it with your operator, or if you damage enough with your current active element. Once you've reached 100% for the mission here, you have to return to Fortuna. You can't really kill the orb here. You will now have received mail from Ordis, which gives you an Archgun deployer. Basically, this lets you use your Archwing guns when you're on the ground. Make sure to equip the Archgun deployer in your gear reel, and to equip an Archgun in this tab over here. To be able to use an Archgun on the ground, you must install an Orkin catalyst on it and a Gravimag. You would have received your first Gravimag from Ordis after completing phase 3, but if you need to craft more, the blueprint can be acquired from the Tenno lab in your clan dojo, and its components can be acquired from doing the Profit Taker Orb phases 1 through 3. Creepy spider boss fight time. This boss is honestly, in my opinion, one of the hardest in the game, mainly because of how much visual and mechanical clutter there is. The reward, however, is worth it since you can get a lot of money and some Vox Solaris standing out of it. Whatever you equip as your Warframe, expect to die a lot and expect to get bullied by status effects a lot. Best Warframes to survive for this mission are Oberon, Inaros, Grendel, and Rhino. Sure, you can beef up other Warframes for this mission. I like to use Chroma mainly for the damage boost. But you are not going to have a good time unless you have a Necromech. Your Warframe's abilities are not going to be very useful in this fight except for the damage boosting ones. If you do actually have a big brain coordinated squad, I recommend using Oberon, Hero, Chroma, and Vault. but you all need to be aware of each other's whereabouts and hold on to each other for dear life. For primary and secondary weapons, I recommend picking weapons with all 3 physical damage types present, and modding 2 different elements on each of them. The variety is good for this fight because the orb will be changing its damage type a lot. AoE is also useless, so don't expect anything from a radial attack to help much. Unfortunately, your primary, secondary, and melee weapons aren't even going to make a dent on the orb, unless maybe if you have the Rubico Prime, but otherwise they only exist to kill the minions around the orb. Yeah, the real start of this fight is going to be your Archguns. Once again, AoE is useless against the orb, so it's best to throw your poor old Fluctus into the trash. Best picks for this fight are the Imperator, especially the Vandal version, Velocitus, Dual Decurion, or the Prisma version, or the Corvas. My favorite out of these is the Velocitus since it has innate magnetic damage alongside all the IPS damages. For modding, just try to maximize crits and the elemental damage types for your Archgun. And keep in mind the orb will not take status procs, so raising the status chance is useless here. If you can use Necromex, I recommend using the Void Rig and modding his Arcubex? Bruh. His Exalted Guns to have different elements than what's on your Archgun. Also better to give your mech a separate Archgun than what your Warframe has, just to maximize the elemental diversity for this fight. For example, my Velocitus has Magnetic, Radiation, and Viral. My Corvas has Gas and Electricity, and my Arcubex has Blast and Corrosive. Oh, also for pets, don't expect anything to live. Vulpify respawns when it dies, so that's probably the best pick. Phase 4. Skipping through the cutscene again. Go to where the orb spawns on your map and get ready to be brutalized by everyone around you. First, equip your Archgun on your Warframe and or spawn your Necromech. The orb will be shielded, and at this point you must attack it with the element active. If none of your weapons have the element currently displayed, cycle the shield by either using your Operator, waiting for enough damage to be done by others in your squad, or waiting 20 seconds to have passed on this current cycle. Once the shield reaches 0, shoot the big crabby legs. The spider will fall down and then you must shoot its Megamind. The orb will then fart out some silos, which you need to shoot from the inside of their shields, and the phases will go on again. Once you've finally killed the fucker, run behind its ass and wait for it to shit out all the boon. And then get nuked. Oh, the days before shield gating was a thing.
Are you trying to get yourself killed? Allow me to assist.
A couple tips for this boss fight. Since the game's going to bombard you with the Corpus, try to shoot down any Corpus reinforcement beacons you see. Unlike your Archgun in space, your Archgun on the ground has limited ammo. If you run out of ammo, you must wait 5 minutes before you can use your Archgun again. So to speed up the cooldown, kill the Terra Mancer enemies which show up, and these are Corpus units wielding big Fluctus around, and they will drop Archgun ammo which can also speed up your cooldown. Necromechs have no cooldown. If you're planning to farm this boss, it's best to do it after you have a Necromech. If you desperately need to farm for credits, it's honestly way easier doing the Index a couple of times on Neptune. Kill Rachnoids. Since this battle is gonna spam you with all kinds of enemies, if you're tanky enough you can choose to ignore them, but I highly recommend you focus on killing the big Rachnoids every now and then, since they have a pretty high chance of dropping toroids you can use for crafting. If you're overwhelmed by the visual chaos during this fight, then definitely turn down your graphics settings. If you're tired of staggers and knockdowns, equip Sure-Footed or Primed Sure-Footed and Pain Threshold on your Warframe. Resolute Focus is also helpful on your Archguns. Once you can buy Magus Arcanes from Little Duck, make sure you buy and max Magus Repair first. This arcane will heal all nearby Warframes while you're in Void mode. Good for the entire game, really. Keep a close eye on your Necromech's health. If you're using Bone Widow, use your first ability to heal, and if you're using Void Rig, use your second ability to stay protected. You're gonna need to refresh that one a lot. If you use Chroma, make sure you use your fourth ability right before the spider dies. With this ability active, credits you earn have a chance to be doubled. Do this quest in pubs. Your chances of succeeding in this are going to be much higher than doing it solo, just because you need the elemental diversity for this one. And finally, do not stand still. Standing still in this fight is just going to result in your instant deletion. If you're on your Warframe, make sure you parkour and aim glide around to avoid the corpus, and be ready to have good cover for when the orb slams her massive ass cheeks onto the ground. As a Necromech, you should move around too, since your mech's also pretty fragile here. And that's about it. The orb drops a bunch of toroids, lots of money, Solaris bonds you can trade for anything, a figurine of itself you can put on your ship, and even a 3% chance to get the Bloodshed Sigil. Humble brag, TM. The fourth phase of this heist is currently the fastest way to farm credits in the game. However, if you don't have a Necromech, you should just stick to the Index as it's less torturous. I'm slowly making more guides about Warframe, so subscribe if you're new. And wait, what's that sound again? Oh no, there's more?